Good evening. America's most decorated soldier of World War II, Audie Murphy, used to refer modestly to himself as a fugitive from the law of averages. Now it appears the law of averages has caught up with Audie Murphy. On a wooded mountain near Roanoke, Virginia this afternoon, rescue workers found 6 bodies and no survivors in the remains of a private plane the 46-year-old Murphy and a group of businessmen had taken in a flight from Atlanta, Georgia last Friday.
Audie Murphy is remembered as one of America's greatest war heroes, a baby-faced Texan farm boy who became the most decorated U.S. soldier of World War II and later a Hollywood actor whose name was synonymous with courage. From his Medal of Honor exploits to starring in films like To Hell and Back, Murphy embodied an enduring symbol of bravery and patriotism. But his life was cut tragically short in 1971 when a private plane carrying him and 5 others crashed into the side of Brush Mountain in Virginia. For decades, details surrounding the crash were clouded by mystery, speculation, and unanswered questions. Now, with a closer look at the official investigation and recently revisited records, we can finally piece together what happened. The life and legacy of Audie Murphy.
The greatest thing that ever happened to me was not as a sergeant, but as a second lieutenant, or was I a first lieutenant? I've tried to forget all these things, you see. I don't remember my rank at the end of the war. I think I was first lieutenant, and this was, I've even forgotten the date, but I was on a train going for a little rest on the Riviera for, about 3 or 4 day pass. And I heard the announcement that the war in Europe was over. And there's nothing that could top that for me.
Would you be considered a leading man? You must be from the applause.
I would answer yes, definitely. Mr. Sir?
To understand the impact of Audie Murphy's death, one must first understand the magnitude of his life. His story is one that could have come straight out of a Hollywood script. He grew up in a large family in Hunt County, Texas, working as a sharecropper's son. After his father abandoned the family and his mother passed away, Murphy was left to help raise his 11 siblings, even leaving school at a young age to earn money. Despite these hardships, he was determined to join the military, even going so far as to falsify his age to enlist in the U.S. Army at 17. His military career was nothing short of legendary. Serving in North Africa, Italy, and France, Murphy's bravery earned him an astonishing 28 medals, including the Medal of Honor for his stand at Holzwehr, where he single-handedly held off German forces despite being wounded. He was hailed as the embodiment of American heroism, appearing on the cover of Life magazine and earning the respect of soldiers and civilians alike. After the war, actor James Cagney encouraged Murphy to pursue acting, which launched a 2-decade career in Hollywood. He starred in over 40 films, including his autobiographical To Hell and Back, in which he played himself. Though he achieved considerable fame, he carried with him the heavy emotional toll of war. Suffering from what we now know as post-traumatic stress disorder, Murphy often spoke about his struggles with nightmares, depression, and the inability to sleep without a loaded pistol nearby. His honesty about these issues made him a rare public figure willing to address the unseen wounds of war. By the late 60s, he was living a quieter life, breeding racehorses and working in business ventures. But financial troubles and personal struggles persisted, leading him to declare bankruptcy in 1968. The fatal flight.
Audie Murphy, the most decorated man of World War II, who went on to become a movie star, was found dead this afternoon in the wreckage of a light plane in the hills of Virginia.
On May 28, 1971, Murphy boarded a twin-engine Aero Commander 680 Super for a business trip from Atlanta, Georgia to Martinsville, Virginia. The aircraft, registered as N601JJ, was operated by Colorado Aviation Co., Inc., a company in which Murphy was a director through its parent company, Telestar Leisure Investments. The pilot was 43-year-old Herman Butler, an experienced aviator with over 8,000 flight hours, though his experience with the Aero Commander model was minimal, only about 6 logged hours. The flight departed DeKalb Peachtree Airport at 9:10 a.m. under visual flight rules. Butler had checked weather conditions by phone prior to takeoff and deemed the route safe for visual navigation. However, as the plane neared its destination, conditions deteriorated rapidly. Witnesses in Galax, Virginia, reported seeing the aircraft circling dangerously low, in and out of the clouds, at approximately 150 feet above ground. At one point, the plane attempted an emergency landing on a 4-lane highway, but was unable to do so, eventually heading west towards the Blue Ridge Mountains. At 11:49 a.m., Butler contacted the FAA flight service station at Roanoke's Woodrum Airport, requesting a weather report and indicating his intention to land there. But by that point, the aircraft had overshot its original destination of Martinsville and was flying west of the Blue Ridge Mountains, dangerously low and behind the ridge peaks. The latest weather report from Roanoke described a 1,000-foot ceiling, 2,500 feet overcast, 3 miles visibility in light rain and fog, and, quote, mountain ridges obscured, a warning that should have prompted more cautious action. At 12:08 p.m., the aircraft crashed into the west side of Brush Mountain at the 2,700-foot level, about 14 nautical miles northwest of Roanoke. The plane impacted the heavily wooded slope at high speed, resulting in a fiery crash that killed all 6 people on board, including Murphy. The news of his death stunned the country and was front-page news nationwide. The search and discovery.
We observed on the side of the mountain near the top where an aircraft had impacted.
Did the plane burn, or is it just a crash?
The immediate area around it had burned.
Are there any indications of life?
Not from where we could see, but we couldn't get low enough really to tell.
Has there been other aircraft in that could have observed what happened?
The state police did bring a helicopter in at our request, and understand we saw them go much lower and hover over it, and they advised they did confirm the number off the aircraft as a missing Aero Commander.
Then this is the plane that the World War II hero Audie Murphy was on?
As far as we can tell, yes.
Concerned friends and associates were initially told the flight had diverted to Roanoke. However, when no one could confirm the plane's arrival, a search effort was launched later that afternoon. Civil Air Patrol units from Danville, Martinsville, Roanoke, Buckingham, Hillsville, and Lynchburg joined forces, supported by 31 aircraft from the Eastern Air Search and Rescue Center at Robins Air Force Base. Poor weather and the lack of a filed flight plan made the search especially difficult. Days passed with no sign of the missing aircraft, leaving families in anguish and the public anxiously awaiting news. Finally, on May 31st, 3 days after the crash, Colonel Hale and Major Slusser of the Virginia wing of the Civil Air Patrol discovered the wreckage approximately 300 feet below the summit of Brush Mountain. The crash site was extremely difficult to access, requiring rescue workers to hike 4 miles of steep terrain to reach it. Investigators found the wreckage charred and fragmented from the impact and fire. 3 of the victims, including Murphy, had been thrown from the plane and were found uphill from the wreckage, while the remaining 3 were located within the burned cabin. Despite the devastation, Murphy's identity was confirmed at the scene, and his body, along with those of the other victims, was recovered for transport. The investigation findings. The National Transportation Safety Board launched a comprehensive investigation. Early speculation included possible mechanical failure or mid-air emergency, but these theories were quickly ruled out. The NTSB found no evidence of pre-impact malfunction or structural failure, concluding that the plane had been operating normally before the crash. The final report, issued June 15, 1972, cited pilot error as the official cause of the accident. Specifically, the board determined Butler attempted to continual visual flight into instrument meteorological conditions, a dangerous decision for a pilot not certified for instrument flight. Compounding the problem was Butler's limited experience with the Aero Commander 680, a complex multi-engined aircraft that demanded greater familiarity for safe operation in challenging conditions. The report emphasized Butler was flying at an altitude too low to clear the mountainous terrain, a critical misjudgment exacerbated by poor visibility, rain, and fog. The aftermath and legal battle.
You lived up to the standards of the most decorated American soldier of World War II, Audie Murphy, who famously repelled an overwhelming enemy attack by himself for one simple reason. They were killing my friends.
In the wake of the tragedy, Murphy's widow Pamela and their 2 sons pursued legal action, filing a $10 million lawsuit in LA District Court against multiple parties, including Colorado Aviation, Telestar, the pilot's estate, and Aero Commander. They alleged negligence in both the operation and maintenance of the aircraft. After years of legal proceedings, a jury awarded the Murphy family $2.5 million in December 1975, a sum equivalent to more than $14 million today. The award was to be paid by Colorado Aviation, the plane's owner, marking a significant victory for Murphy's surviving family. Murphy's death also renewed conversations about aviation safety standards, particularly regarding training requirements for pilots operating complex aircraft under challenging conditions. While no legislative overhaul came directly from the case, it served as another cautionary example within the aviation community about the perils of overconfidence and insufficient preparation. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Audie Murphy's incredible life story overshadows the tragic way he died? Let us know in the comments section below.